Coming up on 13 on Your Side at 10, protesters and supporters gathered today to share a message about President Trump. We'll tell you about their disagreeing answers. Plus, Representative Tim Dunn has some thoughts to share about COVID-19 and immunity. He also tells us he's in full support of the border wall. Plus, it's no secret Arizona has been a hotspot for coronavirus cases. Some are raising flags on Trump's visit with the concern of high numbers. 13 on Your Side starts now.
Trump returns to Yuma. 13 on Your Side starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight on 13 on Your Side at 10. I'm April Hettinger. Locals for and against the president's visit gathered outside in front of the Yuma County Fairgrounds. A clear view of Air Force One flying over protesters and supporters. Dozens chanting in support and dozens of others protesting against his visit. Our news team witnessed several people with no face coverings, now required countywide, since Yuma County has become a hotspot for COVID-19 cases. But one protester says it took the president too long to take action on coronavirus, and that now the nation is seeing the ripple effect.
We, the Latinos, we love Donald Trump.
President Trump has failed in every measure of the word as a leader, as president.
For example, how he's handled the whole coronavirus situation, I supported. He's been doing everything he can to help.
I live in the zip code that is the hottest zip code in Arizona for coronavirus right now, 85364. And, you know, our governor has also failed us in his leadership.
Protesters calling out Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, emphasizing he has lacked leadership. With presidential elections coming up, both sides on the political spectrum make it a clear point that everyone should vote in November. Today, President Trump doubled down on his remarks made at his Tulsa rally in regards to slowing down COVID-19 testing. This morning, the president tweeted saying with smaller testing, we would show fewer cases. Arizona has notably become the nation's latest hotspot for the virus, with an exponential climb in positive cases. There's also an increase in younger people getting infected with the virus. As a doctor at the Banner University Medical Center and a member of the Arizona House of Representatives, Dr. Randy Fries believes the president is sending the wrong message.
The proportion of tests that are positive, that's really the number that we need to look at. And, you know, the raw numbers can be disarming when you look at them climbing, and it's very important to look at the raw numbers. But I think also our proportion of tests positive is climbing, which means the virus is spreading. I think that the testing is still as available as it needs to be, and I was very encouraged to hear that Governor Ducey sort of enforced that testing needs to be available even after Mr. Trump made that statement.
When the president appeared today in Yuma, neither he nor his team wore masks. Arizona Democratic leaders all agree that they believe the president should not be visiting the state of Arizona during this time. And if he is, it should be shed some hope to locals being affected by the coronavirus, instead of tooting the new border wall. Local state representative Tim Dunn disagrees, saying the border wall is and will continue to remain important in keeping us safe. This being as Arizona experiences some of the steepest spikes in the country, and the state becomes a new hotspot for the potentially deadly virus.
Whether you hold a rally or you have sporting events in the fall, I think we need to figure out how we can get our herd immunity up while maintaining the hospitals not getting overcrowded.
The Democratic leaders claim that the president's numbers are slipping in the state of Arizona. That is why they say he has visited the state twice within 2 months. The talk of the town is that President Trump was here today in Yuma visiting the border wall in San Luis. 13 on Your Side's Cody Lee was there when the president touched down in Yuma. He joins us with more on the presidential visit.
April, as President Trump gears up for his re-election campaign, he made a stop here in Yuma. And first thing on his agenda this morning, a roundtable on border security, one of his previous campaign focal points.
It's really foolproof. It's solid steel.
Members of the president's administration, as well as state and local officials like Arizona Governor Doug Ducey, U.S. Senator Martha McSally, Yuma Mayor Doug Nichols, even YPD Chief Susan Smith attended the discussion. The president showing off pictures of the wall that's just miles south of us. Nearly 500 miles of wall will be completed by the end of the year, according to President Trump. 212 miles of this section have already been completed.
This is the most powerful and comprehensive border wall structure anywhere in the world. It's got technology that nobody would even believe, between sensors and cameras and everything else. But two things that have never changed: a wall and a wheel. We're going to always have wheels, and we're going to always have walls. And we have the best security wall ever built. And we'll have it completed very soon.
After the roundtable, they headed to San Luis, where they toured the new section of wall. There, they commemorated the 200th completed mile of the new wall. President Trump quite impressed with the progress.
It's really foolproof. It's solid steel, it's rebar and concrete inside the steel. So we have a very heavy concrete inside the steel, and inside the concrete we have rebar.
During the roundtable discussion, President Trump noting the decrease in illegal activity at the border.
During the past 2 months, we've seen the lowest number of illegal border crossings in many years. Illegal immigration is down 84% from this time last year.
Meanwhile, the number of COVID-19 cases in Arizona have doubled in the last 15 days. During the visit today, most officials not wearing face coverings. And after the president left MCAS here in Yuma, he traveled to Phoenix, where he attended the Students for Trump rally at Dream City Church. Might I add, masks were not required inside the church sanctuary for this event. Reporting in Yuma, I'm Cody Lee, 13 on your side.
Well, thank you for that report, Cody. The talk of the town is that President Donald Trump visited Yuma today. The section of the border wall in Yuma was actually the first to be completed in Arizona. So the purpose of the president's visit is to see the progress being done to fulfill his campaign promise, which also comes with a hefty price tag. Gabe Salazar gives us a timeline of the progress made on the wall in Yuma and caught up with the top Border Patrol official who also visited our neighborhood.
The president has a huge promise he needs to keep. His administration's goal is to complete more than 500 miles of wall by the end of 2021. As of today, they are less than halfway there. In a press conference today, the president taking a more optimistic tone.
We're on pace to complete 450 miles by the end of the year and 500 miles almost immediately thereafter. We may even have the 500 miles by the end of the year.
Also saying how he feels to be back in Yuma.
And I'm thrilled to be in Yuma, Arizona. They've treated me very nicely in Arizona.
And changes are being felt also by Border Patrol agents. The chief of U.S. Border Patrol, Rodney Scott, saying this construction is seeing a return on their investment.
Here in Yuma, you're going to get a return on the investment. We're going to be able to spread manpower out, so it's not just pushing the traffic somewhere else. When they go somewhere else, we're going to be ready for them, and we're going to have more manpower to address it, because not as many people can distract us in this area.
Now, just to give you a rough timeline of where Yuma stands in construction along the southwest border, the first section of those 30-foot steel barriers went up and along the San Luis border back in April of last year. And interestingly enough, this was also the same time Mayor Doug Nichols declared a state of emergency because of the humanitarian crisis. And talking about how much this cost as a whole, the government had spent about $11 billion on the border wall as of January this year.
We've had people catapult things across. We've had issues with drones. We've obviously had issues with tunneling. But here's the catch. In the old days, they loaded thousands of pounds of narcotics in the back of a pickup truck and drove through 2 or 3 at a time. Right here in Yuma sector, they killed Agent Aguilar on the other side of the Colorado River doing exactly that. This prevents that from happening.
Now, in our area, the section along San Luis cost $324 million, which includes a portion of the Tucson sector's wall. The section just south of the Andrade port of entry cost $187 million. Gabe Salazar, News 11.
Stay up to date on what's happening locally by downloading the CBS app in the App Store. Search for KYMA and don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss any breaking news or local headlines. Well, the Somerton police will soon be installing license plate reading cameras to help spot stolen vehicles or vehicles involved in a crime. After the city council voted in favor, the cameras will be placed on Main Street, Somerton Avenue, and other locations on Highway 95 as part of a 2-month trial period. The cameras will be able to capture license plates and vehicle characteristics with a timestamp. The trial period is expected to start late July or early August. A man was arrested on suspicion of smuggling fentanyl across the Highway 86 checkpoint. A 31-year-old man driving an Acura was flagged by a canine detection team Monday afternoon. El Centro Sector Border Patrol agents discovered 11 packages behind the glove box. The packages weighed almost 25 pounds with an estimated value of more than $876,000. The man is a legal resident and was turned over to the Drug Enforcement Administration. Coronavirus numbers continue to rise in Yuma and Imperial County as these counties are now a hotspot for the coronavirus. But today the number of new cases dropped significantly. Yuma County health officials reported 184 new cases today, but this doesn't mean we should let our guard down just yet. There are also 2 new deaths. The total number of cases in the county now rests at 4,940. Meanwhile, there are 69 deaths. They have tested nearly 30,000 people.